Alright, BMW X5 review. Let's just do a quick check to see what the internet thinks of BMW cars at the moment. Yes, I think it's fair to say BMW catches quite a lot of flack from internet people these days. Some of its cars are very expensive, such as the new i5, which is an electric version of the 5 Series, but for some reason it can cost up to £120,000, which is ludicrous, and obviously lots of people have issue with the way BMW is styling their cars at the moment. But I'm in an X5 at the moment. This one is expensive, it's £100,000, but I think it might be one of the very best cars BMW currently makes. And maybe even one of the best big SUVs on sale. It's not even that ugly. It's also not electric. Yes, it's a proper old school BMW. Well, sort of. This one is actually a plug-in hybrid. It is the X-Drive 50e, and it is a good plug-in hybrid as far as these things go. It can do 50 miles on a charge in the real world. I've done it on motorways. It does work, but is a proper BMW. It's got a 3-litre straight six, together producing just under 500 horsepower. So you get some electric driving, you get the good noise and lots of speed as well. But in this video review, I'm going to tell you all the good things and bad things about the X5. So stick around, stay tuned, subscribe, like the channel, and yeah, good things. There's quite a lot of them. Sehr viel good things, guten Dingen, and only a few bad. Let's get on with it. Right, let's get die schlechte Dingen, the bad things, probably, if my German's any good, out of the way first. First thing, I've just sat in some cow poo, which is unfortunate for me. Secondly, the grille lights up at night on this one, which is just unnecessary, a bit tacky. Just leave that chintzy stuff to Mercedes, BMW, and we'll get along just fine. Thirdly, the price is pretty spicy. A basic X5 and X-Line trim costs just under £70,000. But at least for that you are getting a 3-litre straight six diesel engine, and as we all know from our learnings from reading the car Bible, a 3-litre diesel engine is what's best in a big SUV like this. That one's got 300 horsepower, which is decent. You can step up, get a 350 horsepower diesel in the X-Drive 40. This one is a plug-in hybrid, as I've said, just under 500 horsepower, but it costs from £81,000. £81,000 is loads of cash, but it is about the same price as a Volvo XC90 plug-in hybrid in its top spec form. I remembered all the numbers, that's a first. Probably the power of the cowpat osmosing into my veins. Now, as you might have guessed, that isn't the full story on the price, because this one is £100,000. It would have been specced up by a lovely man called Martin, who's BMW's press fleet manager here in the UK, and he probably, I imagine, likes wearing crushed velvet jackets and smoking very expensive cigars while playing with the configurator, because yeah, 18 grand of options on this one. There's the M Sport Package Pro, which gives you blue brake calipers, seat belts with the M stitching on, an M Sport steering wheel, and yeah, black bits on the outside. That is where the light up grille comes in. That's an option. You've got £550 of acoustic glass to make it even more refined in the cabin. That does work really well. £2,650 of sunroof, which sounds about as extreme as the wind noise you're probably hearing, but it can light up and do starry things at night. There's Tech Pack Plus, which has self-parking, the Harman Kardon sound system, I think I said that right, and a head-up display. That's £4,000, all of that. Then for an extra £4,300, you can get the Comfort Plus pack with soft closed doors, rear window blinds, a heated and cooled cup holder, because we needed that. Front comfort seats, which are brilliant. They are cooled, heated and massage up front, 4-zone air conditioning, and yeah, £100,000. But that is £20,000 less than the top spec 5 Series, which is nuts. Now, I've mentioned the Volvo XC90, and we should also mention the Audi Q7, because this is about the same size as both of those cars. It's just over 4.93 meters long. It's just under 5 meters long. It is strictly a 5-seater, this one, because it's the plug-in hybrid. If you get either of the diesel options, you can stick a third row of seats back there for £1,650 if you want to carry 7 people, or you can pay an extra £18,000, yeah, £18,000, and BMW will take off the X5 badge and put an X7 badge on, and it will be a different car, but that will be a 7-seater as standard, and you'll feel a lot like well-known rapist, grimist Storm ZY, because he's got 5 identical black X7s, because he's a dude. I do like him, I'm not taking the piss, please don't have me killed. Now, one of the reasons I've loved living with the BMW X5 is because the boot is really big, and I've had loads of family events such as a joint birthday party for both my daughters, and we filled this with balloons, cakes, presents, tantrums, the whole shebang. Obviously, being an X5, you get a split level tailgate, so you can sit on this and look over your land, or screaming children doing gymnastics outside, whichever you prefer. Now, it's actually only 650 litres, which is big, but it's less than the class average, and this being the plug-in hybrid is only 500 litres. So yeah, if you want a bigger boot, get a Mercedes GLE, that's a bit bigger. Even a Porsche Cayenne is a bit bigger than this, and a Range Rover Sport is bigger as well. But yeah, you've got this flip-up divider thing with space under there for bits and pieces. And yeah, it is a really big space. And this one has an £1,100 optional tow bar, which is coming out very slowly. There it is. Don't actually need to kick it into place. This can tow a decent enough weight. I've just forgotten what it is. The entry-level diesel can tow 1.7 tonnes on a braked trailer. The mid-spec one, 2.5 tonnes, and this, the plug-in hybrid, can actually tow 2.7 tonnes on a braked trailer, which is good, but a Range Rover Sport can tow 3 or 3.5 tonnes, depending on which one of those you get. But still, it's kind of all-round, do-it-all SUV-ish type thing. Let's check out the interior before my head falls off, because I shaved it yesterday and it's really cold. I'm very happy back here. Back seat space in the X5 is good. That will actually go forward quite a bit when I turn the car on, so it doesn't look like I've got much knee room, but it's absolutely fine. I'm 6'3" and I've got room. The seat backs are so comfortable. It's such a nice angle, and there's not much of a transmission tunnel in here either, which is really impressive considering these are all four-wheel drives. So that is actually being used. I've got a wide middle seat. I've got 2 USBs in here. Actually, no, sorry, 1 USB-C in here, and you can get a tablet thing that goes on there as an option. Heated rear seats in this one. I've got a full climate control setup. Your left and right rear passengers can choose their own temperature through these vents here. 2 USB-Cs down there, a 12-volt storage there. It is brilliant back here. And obviously the big panoramic sunroof does actually come back, so your rear seat passengers can get some beautiful vitamin whatever it is, something to do with chlorophyll. There's a little flap up there so you can hang things, like suspend a dog hammock or something. Yeah, really, really nice. My kids have loved it back here. You also sit nice and high up, but being on air suspension, this one, you can actually lower it as well to make it easier to get in and out if you've got elderly people in your life. The X5's cabin is just a wonderful, wonderful place to spend any amount of time at all, really. It feels really well built. I think better built than some actually more expensive electric BMWs. But yeah, it's nicked mostly from the iX, which is a good thing. So you've got a big infotainment screen here, which has got wireless CarPlay. You have to plug in for Android Auto, I think. And you've got a big digital display there. Steering wheel controls, all really straightforward to use. You can get really comfy in the seats. So I have to say, these white leather ones are starting to show some blue staining from jeans and things. This one's got 2,500 miles on it. So yeah, as nice as they look, I probably wouldn't get this white leather. Massage controls up there on the door as well, but you can do everything through the screen. Now, one niggle is that you don't have any physical climate control buttons other than your demisting controls down there. So you've always got to use the screen to adjust the temperature. But that bar at the bottom is always there, so it's not actually too much of a faff. You've got loads of extra controls down here. On the left, you've got a little toggle switch to adjust the height of the air suspension, which is an option on the diesels, standard on this plug-in hybrid. And you've got your drive modes there, so you can put it in a hybrid mode, electric-only mode, and things like that. And that's the gear selector there. It does feel really special in here. I haven't really been in a big SUV that feels quite as nice as this in a long time, and a lot of that is down to the comfort seats. Oh yeah, this little X5 logo down there. That lights up at night just above the glove box. I can't say it enough, but when you're in this car, you do just feel really good about life in a way that's almost Bentley Bentayga-esque, dare I say, and one of those is £80,000 more than this particular X5. Oh yeah, a quick word. If I can just zoom in. Yeah, as you can see over there, this car has got the optional Calm and Hard-On sound system, which is really good, but there is another step up. There's the Wowers and Bilkins system, which I imagine is even bassier and has very clear treble and romps along enthusiastically. Ugh. Sorry, I slipped into audio hi-fi journalist mode there. Have I ever mentioned how much I hate the twaddle that audio journalists come out with? They use really weird phrases about how speakers sound, and they talk about gold-plated HDMI leads and everything. But anyway, that's enough about my hatred of other journalists. Let's take the X5 for a drive and find out if it feels like ein proper BMW, whatever that is these days.
Oh, I've just realised it's very remiss of me. I didn't show you under here because that's your heated and cooled cup holders. Also a wireless charging mat and a USB-A in there. And if I pop open this leather armrest thing, pop, you've got a USB-C in the depths there. So loads of storage, and the door bins are very big as well.
Now let's go for a quick drive in the X5, and the first thing I've noticed in this car is just how comfortable it is. Usually plug-in hybrids carrying a heavy battery, they feel wallowy, they feel like make you sick over bumps. This one, there's just none of that. It is incredibly pillowy, but it's still controlled. It gets air suspension as standard, it's an option on the diesel versions, and even down a bumpy country road like this, you just feel majestic gliding down it. It is really close, I think, to Bentley levels of comfort. Yet this is also quite a fun car to drive fast. Sure, the steering doesn't feel particularly connected to the front wheels, but you feel a push from the back axle. And as I said, this plug-in hybrid's got 483 horsepower, and you get the straight six noise, which is the best noise, and then you need good brakes because it is heavy. But yeah, when you throw this down a country road, it just feels more engaging than I would say any other big SUV this side of, you've guessed it, the Porsche Cayenne, which I'll hopefully be driving in a month or two. But yeah, this is good fun to drive for a big old bus, yet at the same time, the ride quality is wonderful, to the extent that I took out my mother in this car. I had a hip put out on my own mummy. No, I drove my mum around in this the other day, and even she commented on how comfortable it is. A lot of that is down to these comfort seats as well. They're a really good option. But I've been pretty blown away with just how complete a package this feels out on the road. And yes, you'll probably want the air suspension. As I said, it's an option on the diesel, standard on the PHEV. Other things that you might want, there's four-wheel steering as an option if you do lots of parallel parking, though I've read some reports that that can make it feel a bit twitchy on a country road. But by and large, other than feeling a bit large, this is a decent car to drive, a very good car to drive. So much I've really relished every journey in it. And when you're cruising along in electric mode, it's just weird being in something so big and so silent. And I've done a solid 35, 40 mile motorway journey in this car, nearly all on electric power, getting what it says is 99 mpg. That just means you've basically not used a petrol engine. The downside is when you've used your 50 miles of electric range like I have now, your mpg does drop to closer to 30 mpg. But it's still not that bad. For a big old tank, that's decent fuel economy. Right, sorry, it's Tim from the future here. I'm just going to jump in. I'm just dropping the X5 back off at BMW. I've done 222 miles, mostly, it has to be said, with a flat battery. I haven't charged this car at all. And if I go on the infotainment system, I can see that I've done, of those 222 miles, nearly 100 on electric power, which is amazing considering this thing can only actually do, 50 miles in the real world on a full charge. So yeah, that's amazing. It's done nearly 100 miles on electric power, and I've averaged 32 mpg with a dead battery in a car that's got 500 horsepower. I'm slightly blown away. This is one of the best plug-in hybrids I've ever driven. Back to me. Now there is one flaw I've noticed with this car. Normally BMW's 8-speed auto gearboxes are buttery smooth, like you've put some whipped cream up a llama's bum and it's coming out of its mouth. But this, you do get the occasional unseemly jerk as it switches between electric power and petrol power, and then yeah, you get a bit of that when it changes gear, which feels a bit M3 CSL and not in a good way. So yeah, I don't know if it's just this car, but it has been a little bit jerky on the gearbox side of things, just occasionally. But that's pretty much the only dynamic flaw I can really find with this car. It makes me want to drive the X5M and have all of this, but with V8 power. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to me here for an outro. Back to me? I've only just arrived. Behind the scenes, Tim Rodey films things out of order. Outro. Hopefully you might have guessed by now that the BMW X5 is a very, very good car. I would say it's probably my favourite big SUV you can buy right now. And also, this feels like a very strange thing to say, it feels like good value for money too. It kind of helps that BMW has massively overpriced some of their recent electric cars, but at 100 grand, fully loaded, needs nothing else. This is brilliant. And my gold standard for a brilliant, comfy SUV is the Bentley Bentayga, and I feel a bit dirty for saying that. I know I should be a footballer if I like the Bentayga, and I'm definitely not. I'm useless at football. But that car is amazing. It blends luxury, a bit of sportiness and comfort. And this comes very close to matching it, and it's 80 grand less, even with all the options. So yeah, well done BMW. I'm going to give the X5 9.5 Tim Roadies out of 10 Tim Roadies. I could almost say that's a tongue twister. I shouldn't put that at the end of the video. But yeah, brilliant SUV. Go and test drive one if you're in the market for a big SUV. Like this video if it's been helpful. Subscribe to the channel. It massively helps me out. Lots of car reviews coming soon. And go down to the comments and leave me the German word for my face is illuminated. Mein Gesicht ist illuminiert. I don't know, it's probably something like that. Anyway, goodbye. I'm going home. Or KFC, maybe Pizza Express. Don't want to brag, but I'm on the Pizza Express rewards program and I've hit gold tier. I can't afford an X5, that's why, because I'm eating lots of pepperoni.